All right, there we go, JR. Nice and clean. And we're live for the next hour. Here we go. All right, I like this. Looking good. Yep. All right. Who said noon report? That's what I want to know. Who said noon report? Right now. Yep. That is exactly right. No one can deny that it's Monday. All right, here we go. A lot of info coming up. Who's ready? Who said noon report live? Yep. All right. Where are we? Who am I? Yes. Chosen one. There's Chris Taylor. Hola. Hi there, Renee. Lynn Miller. Lynn and I have been working all weekend. There's Andrew Porter. Good afternoon. I like that. Hello. It's one way to spell it, I suppose. Thank you, Patricia House. Look at that. Starts off the week. Wait a minute. 500 stars. That is very kind. There's Farrah Paul. Folks, you know, one thing that is amazing is when you think about it, right? Friday night, first we were live. There's Steve Evans. There's Caroline. Friday night, freezing. In Pawtucket, right? That's Friday night. Actually, we were live first Friday night. Then Saturday, following up, there's Ann. Thank you, Roseanne. Following up, furthering the story. First one to say who the suspect was and the victim. That's right, Lynn Miller. Then Saturday, but wait, there's more. Then Saturday, we break the bridge story. Yesterday, we have the latest updates before anyone else regarding the Pawtucket homicide, that brutal murder, more video than anyone. And then the mayor of East Providence reacts to the bridge story. There's Justin. Hello there, Mary. There's Bridget. Then the bridge story, we further it even more. Suddenly it's Monday. You know, I have to admit, this, Justin, last night, as I was watching the Chief Bills game, I enjoyed that. That was a great game. The two great games yesterday. But I'm like, tomorrow's Monday. The chosen one has not really even had a weekend yet, but that's okay. Let's go like that. I don't know why. Looking a little Dracula. We'll have to address some of the lighting. Excuse me, folks. We are live on the radio. Un momento. There's Gail. There's Cher. I love that. I don't know many Chers. Hello, all. All right, we're going to start, folks. Let's go. There's Jennifer. Oh, good. Jennifer's here. Go Chiefs. I mean, that's going to be a great game. All right. I don't care what anyone says. I love the NFL. Thank you, Ann. Yes, this will serve as the noon report. We're just waiting for JR to give me the go ahead. I like that. You know, folks, there's an expression in media, right? Either you have the story or you don't have the story. So for the cackle to be like, well, I knew about the bridge on Friday, I just didn't say anything. It's really the equivalent of not knowing, right? That is like if a tree falls in the forest. At 12:06, Juan's looking a little too pale. Good afternoon, folks, one and all. It is the chosen Juan. You're listening to the John DePietro Show on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. This will serve as the noon report. Who said noon report, Anthony Santos? I did. It's Monday, January 22nd. The only thing that's a little unusual, most people in media are saying, oh, hope you had a good weekend, blah, blah. Well, as many of you know, we operate a little bit differently, right? Hey, there's an old expression. My dad used to say, move with the crowd, move no further than the crowd. The chosen one does not move with the crowd. I think we can all agree on that, regardless of what we disagree on. You know, I also heard, it was a great quote I may play of Coach Nick Saban on TikTok, but I'll get to that. But let's stay focused here, folks. As many of you know, the Chosen One is a big believer in the power of prayer. I mean that I'm entitled to my beliefs. As you know, I never thought I would have the title of cancer survivor, but that's where we are. And I can't stress enough. It's so important with Just Angels and these beautiful religious items that I have that are so valuable to me, and I'm willing to bet they'd be very valuable to either you or people that you know, people going through things. Again, people can have different religious beliefs. I don't adhere to a lot of them. One, I am Roman, 12 years of Catholic education. My parents were daily congregants. I find prayer very, very, spiritual awareness is so important and it's so healthy for you. And it really helps you take things as they happen. I am changed from what I went through, which is reasonable, normal. Who wouldn't be? But a big part of it is Just Angels and these beautiful items they have. Now, the good news is you can get some of them. This, I can't even say how much. Well, I could try. Saint Pegrin, who is the patron saint for cancer survivors. Miguel sent me this. In the Chosen One household, my family, especially children, will tell you that my recovery really started when these beautiful religious items were coming in. Now, again, everyone, not trying to convert anyone. Is this a religious program? It's not, but I'm also not going to ignore it. Um, and again, I want to implore you. I think it's very healthy, especially the day and age we live in. But Just Angels, and I'm so glad for Jean. Her page is rocketing. She's now at we're going to get close to 3,000 followers. JustAngelsOnline.com. You can find her on Facebook. All right. Now, I also want to give credit. It's not your imagination. Everyone is talking about DePetro.com. That's fine, right? Hold on. Does Channel 10 have a flashier website than you? Yes, they do. They're also blanking Channel 10, right? Are you saying your website has more gadgets and so forth than Channel 12? No, I didn't say that actually. Are you saying your website is in Spanish like Channel 6? I definitely did not say that. What I did say is it is my belief that people don't read a lot. Again, it's just the nature that we live in. You look at short text messages, you're on social media. I know people in print media are upset that people aren't reading 10,000 profiles in the Sunday paper, whatever now stands for the Sunday paper. Hey, don't kill the messenger. The Chosen One's just riding it along. But DePetro.com, what do we feature? We feature video and like short summations. You could be writing longer. I mean, I could, right? But there's no need. You get the pertinent information. You throw some photos up. We share the video, which you can see of Pawtucket. That was brutal, right? Friday night, despite what some people think. But the bridge stuff is really rocketed. And remember, DePetro.com, brought to you by the Cohasset Inn. I'm going to be there next weekend. 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. If you're a fan of the show and you say, one, how could we ever thank you? Well, actually, you can't. But you could send stars, but you could make an attempt by at least supporting many of our sponsors, like the Cohasset Inn. 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. Why? Lunch, dinner. Who said drinks in the lounge, Anthony? The Cohasset Inn. Look for them in West Warwick. So I want to I will talk about the Pawtucket murder. Listen, in the past, I used to cover the New Hampshire primary. I just don't think it's much of a race right now. If it was, we'd talk about it more. I'm not going to try to invent that it is a race. I think the whole Republican primary is over. And by the way, I'm not saying it's a good thing that it's over so quickly. I think healthy debate is good. Biden is already saying he won't debate. Well, anyhow, I don't want to get off on that. But check out what I want to start with, which is DePetro.com. And all right, folks, one of the things, and the moderators know this, you have to. It's a discipline of control what you can control, right? Number one, you try to learn to live life one day at a time. Again, my dad was a big proponent on that. Another thing is you got to control what you can control. I can't control other members of the media that like rip off blatantly, plagiarists, rip off our stories and then try to run with it like it's original. I can't stop that. So I don't put a lot of time, admittedly, into that. But people that do know are like, oh, wow. DePietro, he had the victim and the suspect before anyone else. But then more importantly, he had the bridge story before anyone else. So now I recognize that my old station down the dial. Folks, let me just put it this way, and bear with me on this Monday. This is the Noon Report. Remember, you can share that you are watching. You can type in someone's name if they're on Facebook. They'll get to it. I will get to the Pawtucket homicide. That was brutal. What happened on Friday night to that young mother was absolutely brutal. I will get to that, but I also want to stress to you, and maybe you also have this type of experience. Um, Oh, I look really pale. Let me turn that light back on. Um, I'm not as pale as I apparently look, but anyhow, hear me out. I think I can make a good analogy here. That's the attempt. MSNBC has Rachel Maddow anchor this special coverage. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know anything more. Whoever's behind the scenes that decided that, let alone if it's a male, but whoever that is, I don't need to know anything more about them. Anyone that would put her or Joy Reid on here, but especially Rachel, it's like the expression. That's all you need to know. Um, it's almost like someone that tips 10% in a restaurant. Do you really need to know anything more than that? Someone that tips 10% in a restaurant? I don't need to know anymore. So let me just say this about my old station down the dial, and that is anyone that would put McKee's buddy and allow him to be on 3 hours a day. I, that's all you need to know, right? No further questions. Your witness. It's of course it's ridiculous, but and now this whole thing will just be running cover for him. But if you get a moment and you read DePietro.com, the you have to look at what the timeline of how things happened on Saturday. So I started working on it on Friday. Thursday and Friday I was hearing things. Friday night I couldn't work on it. I was in Pawtucket for the homicide. Saturday, once we're working on the Pawtucket story, I then did a posting about the bridge situation, which is the talking about full demolition of the 195 bridge. Can't be saved. So that was the posting. Now follow the timeline because the timeline is important. And not everyone sees it. Not everyone sees, not everybody somebody looks at something and they're like, I don't see, that happens. Right? The mayor of East Providence, people were coming up to him. He's out. Hey, did you see DePietro.com? Hey, Juan is saying he's here and it's possible full demolition. Now, the mayor of East Providence, if he was in the know, he would have said, nah, there's nothing to it. He did. That's not what he did. What did the mayor of East Providence do according to his own posting? And again, I want to be really clear. I have nothing against Mayor De Silva. I don't really know him. I think I've met him once or twice. I don't. I've dealt with his staff. I found his staff, my experience, they were fine to deal with. I think he's in a very difficult situation, but I want to be clear about that. But what did he do on Saturday night? As most of us watching the playoff game as it was freezing out, he called the DOT director, Peter Alviti. And I want you to, this is where some people just don't get it, right? Peter Alviti, there was only one way that phone call could go, right? Suddenly he's at home. I don't know if he's home. Is he out to dinner? Is he sleeping? I don't know his habits. It's a Saturday night. He could have been doing anything. Could have been out of town. Gets on the phone with the mayor of East Providence. But let me just be very clear. If you are in the know, there's only one way that this call could go. If, excuse me, if Alviti still wanted to be employed today, and that is don't admit to anything and just try to get off the phone as quickly as possible. Peter's been around. Peter has experience. I know there's animosity towards him. Um, I don't hold that animosity. You got to realize it can't be easy dealing with Governor McKee. Peter Alviti, McKee told him, you're going to go on television alone at 5 o'clock on that Monday in December and announce that the bridge is closed with no warning. Okay, that takes a special type of individual. You want to talk about a loyal soldier. It's Peter Alviti. But just stay with me here. Saturday night, you have to look at what other options were there. Like these people saying, see, he said they're still looking at the debt. What was he supposed to say, right? If you're the DOT director, the mayor of East Providence calls you in a blanking panic on Saturday night, not Monday afternoon, not Friday. Couldn't wait till Monday, Saturday night, as you're probably, relaxing, probably watching the NFL playoffs like everybody else. What is he supposed to say? Oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you. Was he supposed to say, hey, you didn't hear it from me, but we're going to take it down? No. What did he say? Mayor, calm down, right? We're still looking at the data. Nothing is decided. You got to talk him off the bridge. You got to think. And I don't know this, but I got to think as soon as Peter Alviti, and I don't know this, but hung up, immediately had to call either the governor or someone connected in the staff. Just got a phone call from the mayor of East Providence. So now McKee, you got to know this. Governor McGreed, right? Coach McKee, Coach Dan, he's very paranoid about leaks. This guy's totally paranoid. Really paranoid individual. Very vindictive individual. Could Peter Alviti said, you didn't hear it from me. But yeah, it's going to be full demo on Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Are you out of your mind? De Silva would have called McKee. Like, what's going on? Who told you that? No, I can't say. What was he supposed to say? We forgot to tell you. Once again, that you're left in the dark. Folks, be real, be reasonable. He's not saying that. He's not some, listen, Peter Alviti may be many things. He's not one of the clueless little incompetents that worked for McKee, who was with him when he was lieutenant governor. He's been around. He's worked with the laborers. Listen, Mayor, let's calm down, right? Let's not panic. Lower your voice. Nothing's decided. Just chill the blank out. It's a Saturday night. Why don't you go have a glass of wine or whatever the hell you have and just let's temper it down. So what is this? I just got off the phone with Peter Alviti, who assured me that nothing is. What was he really saying? The mayor of East Providence was saying, therefore, DePietro's wrong and I'm not in the dark. Well, first of all, I didn't say he was in the dark, but that showed us a lot of things. For those that want to really look at the dynamic. Number one, it confirms for me what I've heard is the relationship with Governor McKee is totally severed, right? He didn't call the governor. He didn't call the governor's staff. He called the DOT director. Back during the primary, if they were having a problem in East Providence with voting, I'll bet McKee would have said, hey, you call me in a moment's notice. He didn't do that. It also shows me, and you this is the part I really want you to absorb. And by the way, I want to be very clear. I don't blame the mayor of East Providence. Clearly does not trust Coach Governor McGreed. How could he? You go back to that Monday when McKee learned They had to immediately close the 195 Washington Bridge. He could have said to his staff, I need Mayor Smiley and I need Mayor De Silva. I need them wherever, somewhere Providence East. Immediately, we're going to give them a 3 hours heads up notice. I want them to hear it from me, right? Man to man, in person, and deliver the bad news. What's the scene in Godfather when Tom Hagen is out in the West Coast with Waltz, who says Johnny Fontaine is never gonna be in that movie, and I ain't no band. What is Tom Hagen, Robert Duvall say? All right, if your car will take him to the airport. Don Corleone, the Godfather, insists on hearing bad news immediately. McKee could have done that. He didn't do that. McKee, he didn't know what to do. And it's either him or his staff that said, no, listen, hey, at 4 o'clock, Governor McKee posted a photo on social media, or someone did, of him having a slice of pizza in Providence. The instincts are just, there's nothing there. There's no political instincts at all. And then his staff, or he said, all right, let's send Peter out. I have a card game. We know what that's involved. I got a card game waiting for me at 6 o'clock. So send Alviti out. I'm not. Well, you want me to go on TV? I'm not going to get the wrath back in Cumberland if I'm late for the card game. So that's what happened. But that setting, or excuse me, that post, and now it is making the news, right? Other people are jumping on it. Channel 10. I like this. Mayor De Silva dispels rumors. Well, actually, he didn't dispel any rumor. He said that Director Alviti said they're still examining the data and no decision has been reached yet on full demolition. Well, what kind of answer? I could have given that answer. Well, we're still looking at it. We're still looking at all our options, right? That's not dispelling a rumor. That puts it in play. So, and I want to come back to that in just a moment. Actually, before I forget, folks, I'll tell you, and again, this is all on DePietro.com, right? Someone sent me the Channel 10 story. Not sure if you saw. Well, yeah. Gee, I wonder where they got that. Boy, what a mystery that they're not giving credit. Of course they're not going to, folks. Come on. I've already gone through this. Do you think they like that I highlight they don't work weekends? Do you think they like the fact I highlight the stories they skip over? No, it's not going to happen. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Henry Oil. Now remember, call Henry Oil today. All your oil needs. 401-521-0200. Henry Oil. Budget plans, service contracts, reliable, affordable fuel oil delivery. Call Henry Oil today. Budget plans, lock and cap pricing, service contracts, automatic delivery. You can depend on Henry Oil. Since 1947. Call them 401-521-0200, 401-521-0200 for Henry Oil. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to beat up on the mayor of East Providence. I'm not. When I've communicated with the staff, they responded, right? They provided me the information I was looking for. I want to repeat what I've said. I think he's in a tough spot. But him calling the DOT on Saturday night because of our posting about full demolition on the 195 bridge, it's very telling. It's very telling. And it's reminiscent to me, right? Like number one, the fact that he called showed that he's not confident that they're not going to do a full demo on that bridge. And that's what they call it. That's number one. Number two, it also highlights the lack of trust he has in the McKee administration, that he's being kept in the loop. I've been told he feels he's not getting the truth. He's not getting full answers. I was told he was a good soldier, went to the press conference, could have thrown the governor under the bus. I've heard at the State House that McKee, who's so thin-skinned, has told his staff, I don't want to hear about these Providence traffic anymore. Don't bring it up. I don't want to hear about it. He's like a child. I don't want to hear about it. I go, right? He goes, Governor McKee, 146, up and back and forth from Cumberland. I've heard McKee's like, I don't want to hear about it. It doesn't affect me. Why am I listening to this? So those people, it's an inconvenience. I don't want to hear anything more about it. Well, if you're the mayor of East Providence, that's all you're dealing with. And that's all you're hearing about. But what also proves my point is if they're not looking at doing a full demo on the bridge, why didn't the DOT director say that to the mayor of East Providence? If they're not looking at doing a full demo on the 195 Washington Bridge, then why didn't he assure Mayor De Silva it's never happening? If Mayor De Silva, is so confident they're not going to do a full demo on the 195 Washington Bridge, why did he feel the need to call the DOT director? Folks, if you're a movie fan like me, there's that great scene in A Few Good Men. And Tom Cruise has Colonel Jessup, Jack Nicholson on the stand, right? Lieutenant Caffey. And what does he say? I have one final question for you, Colonel, before we call Airman O'Malley and so forth. If you gave the order that San Diego was not to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why did you need to transfer him off the base? It's the same thing. If they're not looking at doing a full demo on the 195 Washington Bridge, then why did De Silva have to call Alviti? And not only that, why didn't Peter Alviti assure him that it's not happening? You know, when I saw that, now if you really read, which I find many people don't do, but if you really read, when I posted that, we talked about it. I wasn't 100% about the demo. Not 100%. I was pretty sure about it, but not 100%. And that's why if you look at DePetro.com, it's posed more in a question, which is, can it be saved? McKee nightmare. Can it be saved? We even say the rumors are flying since December 11th, but of late that they're talking about a full demolition on the bridge. If you read that and really read it carefully, all we highlight is that it's being discussed. It's not off the table. And there's a little bit of pros and cons, such as the laborers feel they'd make a fortune off it. What camp do you think they're in? And I'm going to touch on that in just a moment. McKee is fearful that this is the final dagger, that this is political suicide if they have to go into that. And also, folks, local media is not even touching the fact. Now, I have many different sources, but let me just finish that out. When we saw the response from East Providence Mayor De Silva, then it's like the scene in Heat when Tone Loc says, right? He ran into this former con. He did some time in, and he ran into him. And if he was going on and on about he hadn't done anything and nothing was going on, and he knew right then that he had something going on. He was locked up 2-3 years in Folsom. So the point is, when we saw what De Silva posted, it was like, oh wow, it is totally only because it is ridiculous to think. Let me say this: when we posted this on Saturday morning, I never dreamed that later Saturday night that the mayor of East Providence was going to pick up the phone and call the DOT director at 9 o'clock at night. I didn't see that. When we saw that happened, it told me all we needed to know. But for those saying, see, Alviti said they're still looking at it. I come back to, as opposed to what? What did you think he was going to say? Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you. We're taking it down. Yeah, because that's a realistic conversation. He's not saying that. They can't say that. Hey, as I've said, the mayor of East Providence is in a tough spot. Now, I want to come back to, and this is really important, about the laborers who would love to a new bridge. Do you know how much that cost? Overtime? They're jumping for joy. The local media doesn't cover a lot. I'm going to tell you about the relationship between Governor Coach Dan McKee and the people that really run the state, which is organized labor and the laborers. I'm going to touch on that. But, folks, I want to remind you, listen, if you want to go through this new year obese, that's your decision. Doesn't have to be that way. Okay? Not with Unique Health. Aggressive weight loss that will last a lifetime. You want to lose 25 pounds, 30 pounds, 20 pounds? Contact Sandra. Watch those pounds fall off. We just shared a story over the weekend. That guy lost, I'll have to find it. You know what? Let me find it actually. He lost, I shared this posting. I mean, I'm happy for him. Let me just find it quick. I can find it, right? As the program comes to a halt. It's my doing. Unique. Come on, Harry. Where is it? I'll find it. I did share this. There it is. Okay. What's his name? He's in an orange, no, red. Hank. 18 pounds in 10 days. 18 pounds in 10 days. That's pretty strong. 401-269-9155. They're right on Quaker Lane. Right across from the Kent County Courthouse. 18 pounds in 10 days. Folks, your decision, right? Your decision. Unique Health. Target that stubborn fat. Extreme weight loss. Sustainable weight loss. Free consultation. Well, what I'm going to do, how many people started January? See, I'm going to start going to the gym 2 hours a day. Yeah, okay. Yeah. How's that going on January 22nd? Okay, listen, if you want to do that, that's fine. Or you could call Sandra, like Hank did, 18 pounds in 10 days, aggressive weight loss program, detoxing, preservatives, additives, appetite stimulants. Why not? Unique Health, their detox program. Folks, it's habit replacement. What part of this don't you understand? There's no benefit to being obese. That's only 30 pounds. What do you mean it's only 30 pounds? Get rid of it. Watch those pounds fall off. 18 pounds in 10 days. Let's see where he's going to be in 30 days. Sustainable weight loss. Call Sandra. I share their Facebook page. 401-269-9155. Folks, the part that the rest of the media doesn't touch on. And again, good afternoon right now at 12:35. I will talk about the Pawtucket murder. You're listening to the John DePietro Show on AM 1380 99.9 FM. This is, you have to look at, and this is not a situation that you'd want to be in, which is Dan McKee, Coach McKee, the governor who lived with his mother, the card player. Listen, he saw that he was going to lose the election in the primary to Helena Foulkes. So he basically made a deal with the devil. He basically gave organized labor, the unions, AFL-CIO, all of them, free, it's like Lion King, where suddenly the hyenas are running the kingdom. He is along for the ride. Coach McKee, this pathetic, hokey, we're a team and teamwork and like, it's so embarrassing. Oh my God, it's so parochial. God, it's like the principal of a failing high school. Coach McGreed. He made a deal with the last people you want to make a deal with, which was, you just get me into that governor's office. I'll give you anything you want. He's along for the ride. He's fearful of them. He has basically welched on all the deals that he promised them to get into office, whether it was the soccer stadium. Look at this now, the Superman building. Now it's like, oh, we need to build all new schools. So the problem is when they hear, like, hold on a minute, Go back to that part where you said a complete demolition. They see dollar signs. They see we're going to make a fortune. They see Rhode Island's own Big Dig. They see why fix it when if you just leave it broken, we just keep fixing it over and over and over. You also got to realize they don't even call him governor. How bad did things get? It was really last February, a year ago, when everything started collapsing and they realized, like, wow, this guy did mislead us. He did make promises he couldn't keep. When they were openly berating him, when he was summoned to Washington to explain what was going on with the soccer stadium. They, as I said, they don't even call him governor. They were like mocking him to his face. How bad did it get? It got so bad he had to bring back Tony Silva. Tony Silva, right, former cop, gets to carry a gun. It's my understanding they were basically like threatening him in meetings. He's fearful of them. He should be. As one union member said years ago, this guy would have just disappeared, right? Like a Hoffa. So now, right now, it's like the scene in Goodfellas. McKee's the restaurant owner, right? They're ripping everybody off, bringing booze in the front, bringing it out the back. What's left? They torch the place, collect the insurance. You know, McKee's saying, well, if we do a demolition on the 195, the voters, the commuters are going to be upset. What do you think the union people are saying? What? Like, what are you talking about? Who cares? That Sabatoni's like, I live in Johnston. You think I care about 195? We're talking about like $1 billion. McKee, yeah, but people aren't going to like it. And I promised Mayor De Silva. Whatever. It's like the scene in Wall Street when Gecko says they're saying to Charlie Sheen, you're gonna be the shortest time CEO. You're gonna parachute out with like 60 million of Blue Star Airlines. De Silva's gonna be upset. But whatever, we'll cut him in on the action. He'll make a fortune off of this. Who cares? They don't care. 3 years? 5 years? Oh, the people don't like it? So what? We're talking about real money, right? Like life-changing money. That could be $1 billion job. What is there to think about? What's the matter with you? There's nothing to think about. Of course we're going to demo it. We didn't even know that was an option. Holy cow. They're all going out and getting new cars and homes and we're all going to be buying homes on Block Island. This is retired. This isn't blank you money. This is blank everybody type. But this is once in a lifetime. We can demo 195 and rebuild it. Gee, I wonder how long that would take. And then there's service roads and maintenance. Like, holy cow. This is a dream come true. So that's the dilemma he's in. Right? You think now what? He's going to stop that? McGreed? Captain Spineless? He doesn't. He's missing. He went for X-rays. They couldn't find a backbone. He's not stopping that. He doesn't have. He's not stopping that unless he wants to end up missing. Unless he wants to end up at the landfill. No. No. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. Call today, 401-323-9252. Serving Rhode Island and Southeastern Mass. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling. They do it all. AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. Call today now. I share their Facebook page. Maybe you have an unfinished garage. Maybe you have an unfinished basement. AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement, 401-323-9252. Call them. Maybe do some inside painting. Maybe doing some remodeling. How about your basement or your garage? AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. In-law apartment, 401-323-9252. They're saying I'm agreed. It's like the scene in Animal House. I know there's a lot of movie references here, but that's okay. Well, they say to Flounder, right? They destroy the brother's car. I'll swear you were doing a great job taking care of it. But last night you parked it out back, and in the morning it was gone, right? Like they're saying to McKee, listen, go through the whole, we got to check it and examine and data, and we're bringing in the top people to look at this. But at the end of the day, like, what is there to think about? Have you lost your mind? Right? No way. It's like the Godfather Santino. What is your brain going soft? Don't share with someone outside the family what you're thinking. You need to think about whether or not we should do a complete full demolition on the 195 Washington Bridge. You think you need to think about that? I assure you, there's nothing to think about. Well, I'm afraid. Yeah, you're going to be more afraid if you're at the bottom of Narragansett Bay. Listen, tell you what. Listen, you're going to get your cut, right? What are you afraid? You're going to get your cut. You're going to be able to have your long card games. Whatever. Don't listen. We'll handle it. Don't worry about that. Well, it's just Peter. I tell you what, Governor. We'll it's like Luca Brazzi. We'll worry about Peter. Okay, we'll worry about Peter. He's a former laborer. We're pretty confident we can bring him. We can bring him along to the full demo. We'll right like Tattaglia. We'll handle Luca Brazzi. Don't worry about Peter. Well, Peter say, yeah, we'll handle Peter. Let's not worry about that just yet. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by J&B Plumbing Repair and Service. Call today 401-743-9153. They can repair damaged water pipes. They can repair clogged pipelines. Can they replace a water heater? Yes. You can find their Facebook page, J&B Plumbing Repair and Service, 401-743-9153. All right, I want to talk about the Pawtucket situation. Now, I am seeing, first of all, it is horrific. I've had people contacting me. I can't believe some of the people that are contacting me. There was no contact order in place. Okay, there was, and we posted on it. You can read on it. This person I didn't even know. You're false reporting. There was a no contact order. Now, this is someone who's with, believe it or not, but supporting the suspect, that Mike Fernandez. So I said, well, again, my reporting is wrong. I was repeating exactly what the Pawtucket police said. He's being charged with domestic murder, discharge of a firearm resulting in death, carrying a pistol without a license, large capacity feeding device, which is prohibited. Those of you that saw our Friday night coverage, there were a lot more shots fired than people would realize. And also domestic violation of a no contact order. So this person who'll go unnamed was contacting me saying there was no violation of a no contact order. Now, a couple of things. Number one, to me, that should be like the least of your worries. I don't know why you'd be so focused on that, other than it was someone connected to him. But there are a number of females posting on the Facebook page, which I think is good. And they're posting that not enough is done. There was some incident with this individual. He apparently broke in to her apartment and then in court, because she's a victim. And I know what that's like. When I was attacked by Lawnmower Man, in court, they issue a no contact order. You're not to contact the chosen one. So I understand that from the judge. But here's something that I don't hear anyone touch on. What I think a lot of people need to understand that is not being brought out or highlighted is the people that are lessening the laws, meaning the people on Smith Hill behind me, the Den of Thieves, the individuals that are purging records, that are making things light for offenders, the individuals that are making the streets more dangerous. What I don't hear anyone talk about, and certainly these women that are saying no contact order does nothing. I've lived in fear. Restraining orders do nothing. What none of them seem to realize is the people that are putting them in danger. The individuals that talk about let's purge the records, let's purge that stuff, let's lessen the penalties. The people that are doing that are the people that you're voting for. The people that are doing that are the Democrats at the Rhode Island State House. And I don't have an answer why the Rhode Island Republican Party doesn't take advantage of that. I mean, this is one of those situations. I think it's a good opportunity. Now, I agree. This poor mother of two, she posted on Friday that she was being stalked, she was being harassed. This nutcase apparently broke in to, it's out there. This month of January, broke in and was stalking her and terrorizing her and living in fear. And then waits for her Friday night outside her salon. But the part that I don't hear anyone connect the dots on is there's someone who's popular in Pawtucket, Sandra Cano, right? State Senator Sandra Cano, or Cano, whatever. Cano. She ran for Congress. She's a female at the State House. How do you think she votes when everything comes up on the criminals? She votes to, yeah, let's purge it. Yeah, let's lessen it. Yeah, let's give them, no cash bail. Who are you voting for? Right? Matos, one of the biggest frauds, lieutenant governor. They don't even realize these people, right? The Pawtucket Democrats. They're some of the worst offenders at the State House. They want to loosen and weaken the laws. I just don't hear, for whatever reason, all of these, and I'm not minimizing it. And I did, I've done 2 TikTok videos on it, and they've actually kind of taken off. At least one of them has. And all these, I mean, that is horrific. These women, either an ex-boyfriend or a man that they share a child with, and makes their life horrible, and stalks them, and frightens them, and threatens them harm. You had the nutcase in East Providence, right? The guy from Coventry, sending things to that poor ex-girlfriend, had to move out of state to get away from him. And all these stories come out. I don't understand why the Republican Party of the state and the State House, that they don't use that as an opportunity to say, yeah, you know who's weakening the laws? It's people like that Sandra Cano and this Megan Kalman and that Cynthia Mendez. It's all the progressives. You can't have it both ways. And I don't hear anyone, with the exception of the chosen one, speak out that should be highlighted. Right? What does McKee say? We're going to get these weapons. You have women that are living in fear. You have these dirtbag men, and I use that word loosely, who are terrorizing their ex-wives, their ex-girlfriends, these women that maybe they have children with, making their lives hell, vandalizing their home, frightening them, threatening them. Gee, why don't we have more laws that protect those women at the Rhode Island State House? Because the progressive legislators in the urban core, Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, what do you think they do? They kill the legislation. They want to help the criminals. They support the judges that let them out. I don't get it. The progressives and Governor McGreed and that, they'll go after the fact he used a gun. That part I agree. I don't agree. I'm telling you that part they'll definitely do. Right? What will be their message? Oh, we got to get the guns off the street. But they don't say anything. They don't say anything about why not make it tougher with these no contact orders? Why not stiffen the laws about violating it's not easy to get a restraining order. I run into people sometimes and they say, we're thinking of getting a restraining order. People reach out to me, they're having a problem. And I say, that's not easy. You have to go to court, you have to show why it would fit. You can get a no trespass. And if the person, commits a crime against you, then you can get a no contact order. But I fully agree. The laws should be stronger. 100%. I don't understand why the Republicans don't introduce legislation. If it were up to me, for example, State Senator Jessica De La Cruz immediately should harp on this and say, let's toughen the laws on violation of no trespass or no contact or restraining order. Now, if they were to do that, it would not make it out of committee. And the people that would bury it would be those same legislators that live, especially the progressives, that live in Pawtucket, Providence, Central Falls. They're the worst offenders of it. Oh, no, you can't do that. Oh, no, they can't be bail. No, that's racist. They would try to say that. Oh, no, you can't. They're pro-criminal. I would have no problem with that. No. Of course it should have more teeth. I may try to work with some of these individuals to get the laws toughened. And I can already tell you that at the Rhode Island State House, the people that will shoot it down, try to block it and sabotage it, will be the progressives who don't care about quality of life. And they're the biggest frauds. They certainly don't care about these women that are terrorized. No, they'd come up with some excuse not to support it. Folks, this portion of the John DePetro show, you have to have insurance. Navigating the world of insurance sometimes can be tricky. That's where Shoppa Insurance comes in. Serving Rhode Island and Southeastern Mass. Shoppa, SCHIAPPA, Shoppa Insurance. So whether it is for home insurance, auto, renters, business insurance, flood insurance, recreational umbrella, shopper insurance. Remember with Stephen, it's neighbor, partner, friend. Call them, free consultation. Can I mention your show? Please mention the show. 900-4678. 900-INSU, which are the first four letters of insurance. Shopper Insurance. They're right on Reservoir Avenue in Cranston. Free consultation. Sit down. This is my vehicle. This is where I live. Here are the things I need covered. Many times people don't even realize or think of things they need to be covered on. Shoppa Insurance Agency. Free consultation. 900-INSU 4678. Folks, again, I want to reiterate what happened in Pawtucket Friday night. It is horrific. It is a nightmare. You feel terrible. You feel so terrible. That poor woman, that poor mother too, and she was ambitious. And she has a YouTube channel, and she would talk about relationships. She seemed to be an inspiration to a lot of women of color that are small business owners. She deserved a lot better. I also want to just inject, God did not call her home early. That was not part of God's plan. That was not God's will. Wrong. I push back on anyone that says that or posts that. It's a shame God called her home early. God did not call her home. God was horrified and mortified as that lunatic waited for her and then went up on the sidewalk by his own free will and took her life very violently. No, God was trying to comfort her in her final moments. That was not God's will. God did not call her home early. I don't understand the people that push that narrative. Well, God needed her more than, no. What are you blaming God for? God needed her more in heaven than he did on earth. Wrong. God was thrilled that she was on earth and raising her two children through obvious difficult circumstances. God was trying to provide her strength as this nut job the difficulty of trying to raise two children as apparently without a father in the household. God was trying to give her the strength to do that. God was trying to comfort her as she was being stalked by this individual. You're not a puppet in a play. There isn't a man behind the curtain. That's not a defense. Can you imagine that dirtbag walking into court saying, hey, God needed her in heaven. I got the phone call. I executed the hit. God did not call her home early. God did not need her in heaven. That's all wrong. Can't believe some people believe that foolishness. Those of you that are subscribers know what I'm talking about. I posted it. Oh my God, that's not what happened. You're minimizing what happened. No, that guy, that lunatic, that Mikey Fernandez, he is to blame. He decided to do that of his own free will. Of his own free will. He could have driven away. He could have driven somewhere and ended his own life. Be better off. He decided to do that. Had nothing. God did not call her home early. It's frightening to me. And the person that posted that was someone that used to work in media. Had a platform on Channel 10. God called her home early. No, he didn't. Wrong. Guess who decided to do that? That certifiable nutcase. He did. He decided. No, God was trying to comfort her as she lay dying on the sidewalk from a brutal death. I don't understand. All right, here's what we're going to do. Now, next hour, you're going to want to hear this. Politics This Week with Justin Katz, managing editor, anchorrising.com. I enjoy talking to Justin. I enjoy talking to people that are engaged on these topics as much as I am. You can listen on AM 1380 or 99.9 FM. Hold on. You can listen online at the website, depetro.com. Hold on. If you don't have time, if you log on to petro.com, the website everyone's talking about, the plagiarists are stealing from, you can go into radio show and then you can listen to it at leisure. Now, there's good news on this Monday. The cold freeze is broken. It's sunny out, a lot of melting going on. Are we going to do Facebook Live later? We are, as a matter of fact. We are going to do Facebook Live later. We have another full hour to go, though, of the radio show. Remember, uncensored, unfiltered, raw. You can find out the news today, or you can wait 2-3 days till the rest of them tell you. All right, it is the John DePetro Show. We're going to break for the 1 o'clock news. Another full hour to go. Leave it right here. We're back on the other side with Politics This Week.